Hello everyone, it's Mr. Simmerly. I hope that you're doing well. I hope that you're staying healthy. I hope you're drinking lots of water. I hope that you're being outside every chance that you get in the nice sunlight, even though it's not very sunny today. It's kind of raining at home here. But I wanted to make sure that you have watched my lesson on how to check out library books, because in case you haven't heard, we will be seeing each other next week in person. So I'll go over it just a little bit more in class, but it's super important that you know how to check out library books so you can do it yourselves and you can be independent of being able to check out books that are right for you. So make sure that you're watching the video of how to check out a library book, and this is this week's Read Aloud, and today I'm going to read The Wretched Stone, which is also written and illustrated by my favorite author illustrator, Chris Van Allsburg. Remember, Chris Van Allsburg is the person who wrote and illustrated Jumanji and The Sweetest Fig. So another interesting book with a twist ending like he always does. So here we go, The Wretched Stone by Chris Van Allsburg. Take the cover off of it here. Here we go. And I love this book because it smells like books did when I was a kid. Here we go. May 8th. We finished bringing supplies aboard early this morning, and at midday we left on the tide and found a fresh breeze just outside the harbor. It's a good omen that our voyage has begun with fair winds and a clear sky. The first mate, Mr. Howard, has brought together a fine crew. These men are not only good sailors, but they are accomplished in other ways. So it's kind of like a journal of their trip on the ship on the ocean. Many read and have borrowed books from my small library. Some play musical instruments, and there are a few good storytellers among them. On May 17th, our passage is going well. The usual boredom that comes with many days at sea is not present on this ship. When the members of this clever crew are not on duty, I find them singing and dancing or amusing each other with tales of past adventures. So they're not being bored on this ship. They're playing music and they're dancing and they're telling stories just so they can keep each other occupied. June 5th. Land ho! Slightly before sunset, we spotted an island. I've consulted my charts, but do not see it recorded. This is odd. Since ships have sailed through these waters for years, apparently they have all missed this small place. We are low on water and would be happy to find fresh fruit growing here. Tomorrow I will take some men ashore and look about. So they found an island that no person's really visited before. They're running low on water and they're going to need to get some fruit to eat, because you need vitamin C when you're on a ship. June 6th. I've just returned from the island. It is strange indeed. The vegetation is lush, but not a single plant bears fruit. The air has an odor that at first seems sweet and pleasant, and then becomes an overpowering stink. I saw no sign of animal life, not even an insect. We found a spring that had water too bitter to drink. We also discovered something quite extraordinary, which I have brought aboard. So I can't drink the water, it's bitter. There's no fruit to be found, but he's brought something on board the ship. It is a rock approximately 2 feet across, and it's roughly textured and gray in color, but a portion of it is flat and smooth as glass. From the surface comes a glowing light that is quite beautiful and pleasing to look at. The thing is unbelievably heavy, requiring 6 strong men to lift it. With great effort, we were able to get it aboard and into the forward hold. We have set sail and are underway again. So they brought a rock on board. It's gray, glows, 2 feet long, but takes a lot of men to pick it up. June 10th. The crew is fascinated by the rock. When not needed on the deck, they are down below, gazing in silence as the peculiar light it gives off. I miss the music and the storytelling that had become part of our ship's life. The last few days have passed quite slowly. The men, however, seem perfectly content. I'm sure their interest in the stone will soon fade away. So now they've stopped singing and dancing and telling stories, and now they're just fascinated by looking at the glowing stone. June 13th, something is wrong with the crew. They rarely speak, and though they swing through the rigging more quickly than ever, they walk the decks in a clumsy, stooped-over fashion, and last night I heard shrieks coming from the forward hold. I believe they have contracted some kind of fever that came on board with the stone. I told Mr. Howard that tomorrow I will have the thing thrown overboard. So now the crew's acting very, very strangely. And then tomorrow he's made a plan to throw the stone overboard. Let's see what happens. June 14th. This morning I awoke to find the deck deserted. The wheel was tied steady with a rope, and I believe Mr. Howard, who spent some time around the rock, told the men about my plan to get rid of it. They have now locked themselves in the forward hold. They apparently believe, in their feverish state, that I can sail this boat alone while they sit around that wretched stone. So now, no one's doing anything on the ship. They're all just sitting, staring at the stone, and now he's going to have to do all the work. But if you know anything about a ship, you can't do it alone. It takes a lot of men. June 15th, we are in grave danger. A powerful storm is heading this way, and all morning long the wind has grown steadily stronger. The sky is filled with dark clouds. I was unable to shorten the sails by myself. With this much canvas up, we will surely be blown over and sink when the full force of the storm arrives. I'm going forward again to try to get the crew to work. All our lives depend on it. So now a big storm's coming in. He can't do this by himself, and he must get the crew to help him. This time, I'm sure, is my last entry. What I have just seen is so horrifying, I barely have the strength to write it down. After I pounded at the door to the forward hatch, it finally swung open, but it was not a man who opened the door. It was an ape. The whole crew has turned into hairy beasts and just sit there, grinning at that terrible rock. They don't understand a word I've said. We are doomed. So now the entire crew that has stared at this rock has turned into apes. June 16th, the storm has passed. The Rita Ann is still afloat, but both mast and rudder are lost. The stone has gone dark. We were struck by lightning twice during the storm, and I believe that was the cause. Unfortunately, the crew is unchanged. They are still beasts, but seem sad and lost without the glowing rock. I have moved them back to their quarters, and we have food for 2 weeks. I am hopeful of a rescue. So during the storm, it was hit twice by lightning, and no help from the apes. June 19th. I have made an encouraging discovery. I am playing the violin and reading to the crew. It is having a positive effect. They are walking upright and have an alert look in their eyes. June 24th. I was in the forward hold today, and a dull glow was coming from the stone. I have covered it and will keep the compartment locked. So he's reading to them, hoping for a rescue. The stone is covered up, trying to keep it away from the men/apes. June 28th. I am happy to report that the men have returned to normal. It seems that those who knew how to read recovered most quickly. June 30th. We are saved. A ship has been spotted off our starboard side, and I have decided to scuttle the Rita Ann. There is only one place for the wretched stone. Before we abandon ship, I will set a fire that will send this vessel and her cargo to the bottom of the sea. So the crews changed back. The ones that could read changed back faster. And now that they're rescued, they're going to set the ship on fire with the stone in it and send it to the bottom of the ocean. July 12th. Our rescuers have left us in the harbor town of Santa Pongo. One by one, the crew should be able to sign on to ships passing through and work their way home. We have made an agreement not to talk about the strange events that took place aboard the Rita Ann. The men appear to have recovered completely, though some show an unnatural appetite for the fruit that is available here. So even though they're still human, even though they are now back to being human, they have a strange appetite for bananas. The end. So The Wretched Stone, excellent book with a different ending like Chris Van Allsburg always does. Make sure that you're getting on Flipgrid, which is the next slide over. Type in the code and let me know what you think about The Wretched Stone. Also, let me know about what books you're excited to check out in the library, and let me know if you have any questions about the book checkout lesson that I gave you. I hope that you're doing well. Make sure that you're drinking water and you're playing outside as much as you possibly can. And I will see you next week in person with a mask on and 6 feet apart. See you soon. Goodbye.